I don't know what I was thinking when I decided to do all these videos at once, but we've got the first three done. This is part 4 of 5, so I might as well just finish it. I was asked, Bill, what are your top games on the Nintendo Switch? And I said, I'm going to do a top 50 list. Probably bit off more than I should have, but that's okay. This is numbers 20 through, I'm sorry, I did it backwards. This is numbers 20 through 11. So the next video will be my top 10 Nintendo Switch games. Now, keep in mind, this is my list. These are the games that I like. And if your list is different, that's totally fine. Let me know your list down below. But this is my number 20 through 11. We're going to start with number 20. And number 20 is a free-to-play game that I honestly didn't expect to like nearly as much as I did. And that's Fortnite. Fortnite, I mean, it's the king of battle royale games. I really do enjoy battle royale games, and this is a really good version of a battle royale game. Now, I do think that there are better battle royale games out there, but not on the Switch. So, if you've never played Fortnite, I don't feel like I need to explain Fortnite. Everybody has seen something. It is a phenomenon. I still remember the moment that the rocket broke the sky. Like my son and I were playing, and the rocket broke the sky, and that was just an amazing moment in that game. And I've never seen a game that has the ability to change the world that it's in over time as well as this does. It's just amazing what they've done with it. And there's a reason it's as popular as it is. And for me, that means it comes in at number 20. Let's look at number 19. Number 19 is a game that has a demo available. So if you're not sure about it, you can check out the demo. Although I will say that generally, the demos from these games don't do a good job selling the game to you. They do, in fact, a very poor job selling the game to you. This is Monster Hunter Generations Ultimate on the Nintendo Switch. The first Monster Hunter game that I ever played was Monster Hunter World on the PS4. And that is the one that I like better. I like it a lot better, but that is not coming out to the Switch. I'm holding out hope that there's going to be a Monster Hunter game on the Switch that plays like Monster Hunter World. And I know that there are fans of Monster Hunter who have been playing for years and years and years. And when they hear me say that Monster Hunter World is my favorite, they're like, "Oh my God, no!" They hate that. They don't want it to be anybody's favorite because it was the dumbed down version. But hey, I'm a filthy casual, and I'm okay with that. This is my list. And that's why I'm putting Monster Hunter Generations Ultimate at number 20. If Monster Hunter World, a game that played like Monster Hunter World, was on the Nintendo Switch, I would kick this off the list in a second and put that there instead, because that's just the kind of game that I like. The game is fantastic. It really is. There's so much going on, though, that you have to go to the internet and look things up. You can't just figure out a game like this on your own. There's just too much to it. That being said, it's incredibly fun and very, very addictive. And it is one of my most played games on my Nintendo Switch. And I recommend it. Monster Hunter Generation Ultimate is a really, really good game. And it has this wonderful gameplay loop of you hunting down a monster, figuring out how to kill it. Once you kill it, you take the parts from, like, you skin the monster, and you get parts like fangs and scales and stuff. And you take that back to the town. You use that stuff to build new armor, new weapons, to make yourself a little more powerful so that you can go up against the next most powerful monster. The combat is really good. And when you play this game, you have to find out which combat works for you, because every single weapon plays completely different. You can do the hunting horn, which is a very support based build, and yes, you can play this online with other people. You can play like a great sword, which has these huge sweeping arcs of damage. You can do like a sword and board, or you can have a giant ridiculous hammer that is so big there's no way anybody could pick it up. Uh, all of these different combats are I'm sorry, all of these different weapons mean that you have to find the style of combat that works for you. And until you figure out which weapon works for you, you're probably not going to like the game. But because each weapon feels incredibly different, I feel like there is something in the game for everybody. It is a fantastic game. It's actually a port of a 3DS game, and it is backwards compatible, or like you can do crossplay with 3DS players. Although I don't know if any of them still exist out there. I'm sure that some do. You know, don't at me or whatever. Uh, but this is number 19. Am I on 19? I think I'm on 19. Let's move on to number 18, if I've got the numbers right in my head. And that would be a very cool old school Metroidvania called Guacamelee. It's a melee style Metroidvania. So you are a luchador who has been killed, and now you are going through and trying to avenge not only your death but save your sweetie. And it's got a wonderful art style. Like you have to see this to believe it. It's coming up here in just a second, maybe someday. Let me skip ahead. It's got a wonderful art style, and the controls are dead perfect. There's actually two of them. Guacamelee 2 is also on the Nintendo Switch. I didn't enjoy that one nearly as much as the first one, but it plays like a regular old Metroidvania. You go through, you get new abilities, which allow you to traverse the area better, and you go back to old places that were, oh, look, there's a ledge that's just a little too high that I can't get to right now. Maybe I'll come back later. And then later you have the ability to double jump or do an uppercut, which makes you kind of jump when you're in the air. And that's Guacamelee for you. It's really fun, and I highly recommend it. This is a completely different style of game. Also has a very cool art style. I'm a huge fan of the art style for this game. And a lot of people hated this game. A lot of people really, really dislike this game. It got bad reviews. And I think that the reason that this game got bad reviews is because people, because the developer did a really bad job teaching people how to play the game. Now, I ended up going on and watching a video online of somebody explaining how to play Has Been Heroes. And once I understood it, once I fully grokked what was happening in the game, I was like, oh, okay. And then when I started playing it, oh my God, it is so fun. It is a roguelike with, you've got like these 3 lanes of enemies that will come at you. And if they reach you, they will do damage to your characters. And if they kill your characters, then you die and you have to start over at the beginning. But you've got these 3 lanes of enemies that come at you, and your job is to try and manage doing damage to these enemies by swapping your characters back and forth on the lane and using the abilities at the right time and managing the positions of your 3 characters as you play the game throughout the fight. And that's just in the combat phase. And then you have like the phase where you're going from section to section and trying to figure out, okay, if I go here, what's the best route to take through this map? And let me bring this up. What's the best route to take through this map to get to the end where I still have the most stuff, but the best chance at still being able to take down the boss? Every time you play through, well, not every time, because you're going to lose a lot, but every time you beat a boss or get far enough in the game, you can unlock new abilities for your characters or new characters to play as. Has Been Heroes is a fantastic game. It's $20 on the Nintendo Switch, and if you bought it and checked it out and took a pass on it because you were like, I don't get what the hell's happening, do yourself a favor, find some videos that teach you how to play, because the developers did a bad job teaching people how to play their game, and that's why it got bad reviews, because it's really good. And you won't often hear me say something good about something that comes from GameStop. This game is published by GameStop. It's extremely funny and fun and very, very difficult, but also lovable at the same time. All right, something that's old school. Horizon Chase Turbo. This is a game that is very much old school. Just recently came to the Nintendo Switch. Actually, I think it just recently came out everywhere. But this is a game that is based on those old arcade racing games where you have to get to the next checkpoint in a certain amount of time. Think games like Outrun. Now, if you're not old like me, you probably don't have any experience with that. But it's really fun. You start at the back of the pack. The race starts, and your job is to pass everybody by the end of the race. It's really, really fun. They also have like this seasonal thing going on where you constantly have like new challenges to compete or to complete. And if you're looking for a fun arcade racer that is just like a single player kind of style, then this is a game for you. It's got a cool look to it. Some of the levels have this very cool like neon Tron like thing, which always appeals to me. And I love it when you're passing an enemy, you're like a little speech bubble pops up out of the car and they're like, nice try, pal, or sorry, I've got a race to win, that kind of thing. But Horizon Chase Turbo is on the Nintendo eShop for $20, and if you haven't picked it up, you should. And that's why I'm putting it at 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, number 16 on my top 50. Okay, if you've been watching this top 50 list for a while, you probably noticed that I really, really like roguelike games. I like games that reinvent themselves every time I play. And that's why I had to put number 15. Yeah, number 15 on this list is one of the greatest roguelike games ever made. And that's Rogue Legacy. Rogue Legacy is incredibly fun. It's only $15 on the Nintendo Switch. You play as this descendant of somebody who has like their riches locked away in the tower. You have to go into the dungeon or castle or whatever it is and get that stuff. Now, when you die, you leave your riches to your next of kin, the next person in line. And like any roguelike, things are randomized. So that means that your descendants, they are randomized too, and they might have weird things like they own, like maybe they're colorblind, and so now the whole game's in black and white, or maybe they are dyslexic and the whole level is turned upside down, or your controls are backwards, or maybe they're really, really heavy and can't be knocked back very far, or maybe they can't feel the bottoms of their feet so they can walk on spikes and it doesn't hurt them. Like all of these crazy things that are completely randomized. And then you go into the castle and your route through the castle is randomized as well. So you have to try and make your way through the castle. When you die, you leave your gold to your next in line, and then you take that gold and you spend it to upgrade your current character and future characters so that they are more powerful and more likely to get further into the castle. If you're looking for a roguelike, this is the one to go with. And that's why it's at 15. Number 14 is one of my favorite Metroidvanias, and that is Shovel Knight on the Nintendo Switch. My son and I played through every ounce of the Shovel Knight campaign in 2-player. We had so much fun with it. It's $25 on the Nintendo Switch. If you've not played Shovel Knight yet, oh my God, it's very reminiscent of 16 or maybe 8-bit games, kind of somewhere between 16 and 8-bit. Really, really fun, and so much content, because after you've beaten it, you can go back through and play as Plague Knight. You can go back through and play as Spectre Knight, and they didn't just change the character. They also change the levels to match what that character would do. This is a company who has, or this is a game that is just, I adore this game, and I can't wait until the next expansion pack comes out, which would be King Knight. If you've not played it, pick it up. $25, one of the best Metroidvanias that you will ever play. I had trouble deciding between these two Metroidvanias. This Metroidvania is not nearly as expansive as Shovel Knight, but I wanted to put them right next to each other, and that's because every day it kind of shifts back and forth. Which one do I like better, Shovel Knight or Xeodrifter? Xeodrifter is another Metroidvania. It's much shorter game, but also really fun, and it's a Metroidvania. Everything that I've said about Metroidvanias doesn't need to be said again. You got 4 worlds that you go to. Your ship blows up. You have to find the parts to your ship on the 4 different planets. Honestly, I probably should have put this at in the 14th spot instead of the 13th spot now that I think about it, because the bosses are repetitive in this one, and Shovel Knight doesn't have repetitive bosses, so we're gonna flip-flop those. But I'm not gonna redo the video. But it's fantastic. It's short, it's fun, it's $10, and for $10 you can't go wrong. It's also on sale quite often. It's just really fun, and the publisher is a TUI. I adore their games, and this one had a great soundtrack, and I love the art style as well. Oh, speaking of soundtracks, back to Shovel Knight. Top-notch soundtrack. Really good. 2 things that I don't really care about. I don't care about racing games outside of Mario Kart for the most part, or like arcadey stuff. And I don't care about sports games. So when Rocket League was given to me for free because I bought a Steam controller, I was like, whatever, I'll try it. I don't really care. It's not for me. But oh my God, I was wrong. Rocket League is an amazing game. And if you haven't played it yet, you need to play it. It's $19 on the Nintendo Switch eShop, and it is a must buy. You have to play this game. It is a sequel to a game called Supersonic Acrobatic Rocket Powered Battle Cars, which luckily they listened to somebody and said, oh, we should probably change the name to something that people are actually going to remember. Basically, it's soccer with cars that can fly through the air. I don't know what else to say about it. You have to play it. It's so fun. Incredible game. And when it came to the Nintendo Switch, it was a day one must buy. Absolutely have to buy this game. If you're looking for a really good JRPG to... Oh, that was number 12, by the way. Now we're on number 11. This is our last game for this video. If you're looking for a fantastic JRPG, you don't have to look much farther than Xenoblade Chronicles 2. Now, for me, this is higher than Octopath Traveler for me because I am somebody who plays a lot. I really like MMOs. And some people will disagree with me here, but I feel like this game plays like an MMO. Like the combat feels like you are in charge of a party of MMO adventurers. And it's incredibly good. The combat's fantastic. The story's really fun. The voice acting is pretty damn good too. Some of it's bad, some of it's great. Xenoblade Chronicles 2 is one of those games you can put hundreds of hours into, and it has like a new game plus thing where even after you beat the game, you can go back and play it again if you want. You can play over and over and over again. It's a full price game, $60, but man, it is a wonderful game and a beautiful world to go into and play in. Really fantastic, and that's why it is number 11. All right, so that was 20 through 11. Our next video is the last one. That'll be our top 10 list of Nintendo Switch games. So I want you guys to make comments down below. Let me know, what do you think of my top my 20 through 11 list, and what do you think I should be putting on my top 10 list? Keep in mind, I obviously won't be able to change it for you because I'm recording all of these in one day like some kind of idiot. So anyway, if you haven't hit subscribe, hit the thumbs up, hit the bell. Make sure that you come back for other videos in the future. I also record a podcast called Nintendo Switchcraft, but I'm not going to talk about that right now. Let's get out of here. It's time for the top 10.